So today I was thinking to myself, if I were going to travel somewhere, where would I go and why?
Hey, Vern.
Hey guys, Vern Danke, welcome back. So today is the first debut of the new camera. So I'm going to run it straight in, I think we're running 4K 60 frames. So let's see how this works. Let's see how well it is for low light. Now I don't have it attached to my gimbal at this point, but we will in the future. Ventana Navy Golf Course. Cool. Looks nice. Real nice, you guys. We got a foreigner here doing his putt. This could be a nice course. I don't know how many holes it is here. Let's see if there's a sign that shows anything. There's quite a few people out here. It's a little overcast, so it kind of keeps the temperature down. So if you guys want to come on here and bang out some balls, here you go. Now, a lot of people, they want to come over to Asia. And the biggest complaint that I've read is that people can't drink, they can't party, they can't get crazy. So don't come to Asia right now. You know where I would go? I would go straight to Mexico. I'd bypass Asia, I'd bypass Europe, and I'd go right to Mexico because that's where you can still get crazy. They don't have all the restrictions. They may have where there's fewer occupancy for different bars and restaurants, but I believe you could still party. So why try to keep putting a square peg into a round hole? Just go right to Mexico. If you need a party and that's your thing, don't waste your time going to the other places at this point. Just go there. Biggest bang for your buck if you just want to party. Now, if you want to come to Europe, then my best advice would be go probably straight to Istanbul. Why Istanbul? Number one, the airports are always solid. They're always running. Out of all the places during my COVID travel, it seemed like the airport in Istanbul was always humming. It was always an available option. I don't remember seeing too many closures for the airport. So you've got the airport support for travel. Then the second thing is they almost always kept most of the transportation hubs running. The trains were running, the buses were running. It was great traveling between everything. It was just really seamless. So if you want to travel, you want to experience things, you want to go to places like museums that aren't closed, definitely I would pick Istanbul. If you want really good food, just go right there. Don't fiddle fart around with all these other places that are closed, that are really hard to get around. Just go right to Istanbul and make that your destination. Now, the other thing is I see Asia starting to open up. Now, they're talking about in December allowing alcohol possibly at the establishments in December for Thailand. Now, the other countries are also starting to open up a little bit. Now, if I were to go to Asia, where would I pick? I would go to Thailand. I wouldn't go to the other countries yet. And why? Because Thailand has already opened up a big part of the country, and to open up the next bit, it's not going to take that much of a oomph. Where the other countries, they're going to open up a little bit, they're going to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's going to take months before they finally say, you know what, I think we're okay to do the next step. But Thailand is leaps and bounds ahead of them already, okay? So if you want a party place with alcohol, you're probably going to have it sooner in Thailand than any of the other Asian countries, the best I can tell. So that would be my thing. I would probably come to Thailand maybe January. I think January things would pretty much be dialed in and be moving along. Because even after they open a place, it's going to take a while for things to start working again, right? Because you're dealing with everything being shut down, all the support services. It's going to be a pain in the butt. So that's my thoughts. You know, people are, oh, well, maybe Singapore, maybe this part of Asia, that part of Asia. Well, you're going to have the same issues that they had in Thailand, where they only open a little bit and they're testing it out and they're waiting to see what's going on. And so you're going to go to these places disappointed, thinking, yeah, it's going to open, but it's not going to open for a while to the way that you might want it to be open. So I think Thailand's still the best bet. I think they've kind of committed to opening, and they've got the other places to start to open. And now that they're open, the ball is somewhat in their court to keep going forward. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for them to keep going. And the thing a lot of people are saying is, hey, unless it's open with a lot less restrictions, we're not interested. And I think they're reading that on a lot of the forums. I mean, how could they not be? They have to get feedback somehow. So, you know, it's bound to make an impact and have a voice eventually. So that's kind of my thoughts for today. So if I were to go traveling, I would pick Istanbul as my number one. And if I didn't feel comfortable doing Istanbul, I probably would go to Serbia. But the thing in Serbia, you're going to have a fun time in the city, but outside the city, a lot of the vans aren't running. So how are you going to get around? The transportation is pretty limited. You can pay a taxi, but the taxis there are not cheap. So that's going to add up. It's going to really add up after a while. So I'm sitting here walking, and I keep seeing these dogs around here. Now, when I was at the Cobra Canal, I was walking toward the end of the Cobra Canal, and I had this dog come and nip at my leg, put a little hole in my leg. I don't know if he had one tooth or he jumped and pushed his claw into my leg, but in any event, drew some blood on there, and that was kind of what we're dealing with. And the owner was like doing the thing, you know, I felt very sorry and bad for me, but you know, what do? Gotta be watch out. So the best advice, never let the dogs get behind you. If they get behind you, they got you. More dogs. Not a big fan. Golf course. I thought this was going to be a big park, but it turned out to be a golf course park. Oh, these guys have a little boxing deal going on here. So we'll check it out. I don't know how far we can get down here. Probably not very far. Not very far. Looks like it's about it. I hear some street dogs at night out on the road, and they're not doing too good. I think they fight every night. I've never heard that aggressive. But there you go. It could be harder for the animals too, because there isn't as many street vendors. There aren't as many people out cooking food and throwing stuff out. So yeah, that could be an issue. A lot more stress that way for food. So I'm running the native camera app. It's actually brighter footage than what it actually is to my eyes right now. So this lens is working really good. And that's where you pay the money. You pay the money for the low light gear. If you have cheap lenses, they don't get good night footage. All right, so we're gonna get a little idea of what the scene is out here. It's starting to get to be rush hour, so people are heading home right now. All right, so I got the front-facing camera. This thing's doing really well in low light. It's not perfect, it's a little grainy, but not bad. Not bad at all. I don't have any gimbal controls with just the regular native camera app. I see a little bit of grain, but not bad. For as dark as it is, it's doing really well. Gotta watch these dogs real closely, because they are not the nicest. Always watch behind you on these dogs. After that one nipped at me. So this is the scene, you guys. How's it look so far? It's probably close to 7 p.m. right now. So what better way to test it than to give you guys a little bit of flavor of the neighborhood here. I haven't really vlogged this neighborhood at all. This is kind of where I'm staying. Just up a couple blocks ahead up here. Just like their middle class neighborhood. Rush hour, Bangkok, suburbia. Bangkok, suburbia. All right, moving along. Gotta watch these motorbikes. Pretty crazy. Some of the color choices are somewhat interesting, and I don't know if that's by choice or if it's just available paint that's available. I really couldn't tell you. Really couldn't tell you. In the Philippines, there's not a lot of choices for paint, so they kind of just get what they get, mix and match, and that's what you have. So you come up with some really odd color combinations, and maybe here it's no exception. It just depends on how much they're willing to pay for the paint. How much is the paint? So how does this camera handle the low light? Is it doing good? 4K on a gimbal. What do you guys say? Is it good? Is it not so good? Let me know. Like I said, it's about, I want to say 6:30, close to 7. So It's actually darker than what this camera is showing. This camera is letting in a lot of available light. It's really good. So on the travel end, if you just want to party, go to Mexico. Don't worry about waiting for other places to open up. Just go straight to Mexico. Don't get on the forums complaining this and that. Just go to Mexico. You'll be happy. Now, if you want some culture, some history, some food, go to Istanbul. That's your go-to place. Go to Istanbul. If you want to be in Asia and you don't mind waiting a little bit with things opening up, come here to Thailand. Come right to Thailand. It's going to take too long for the other places to normalize. So I would just come here. So that's my thoughts, you guys. Trying out the new gear. Running through my mind a few different thoughts. Look at this. This is kind of funny. You got a 7-Eleven here, and then across the street you got another 7-Eleven. That's some competition, huh? I'll show you where I'm staying. I'm staying just right down this road in an Airbnb. So those big buildings, that's right where I'm staying. And this is the community around me here. Now you notice almost everybody has their mask on. I mean, they're really disciplined here. I'm really surprised. Really surprised. But they almost look at me like, even if I have my mask on, oh my gosh, there's a foreigner. Almost like if the Chinese, when you first seen a Chinese person right when COVID hit, would be like, oh, they must have the COVID. So it just is a little weird like that. I get a little bit of that vibe. It's a foreigner.